All right. Well, Gabe, start us off.
Could you take us through just the difference between the first half, second half, what was said, adjustments at the half, pitching a shutout, and looking good in the second?
Well, I wish I could tell you it was a lot of that. We just talked about that in the locker room, that we're like two different teams. And, coming into this week, it was about three things. It was about effort, which we've been getting. I think our guys have been playing very hard all 3 weeks. It was really about communication, which we are improving as a team with being able to play as many people as we've played, getting guys on and off the field, and that communication and elimination of penalties and things like that, which I think we had 3 today.
Yes, sir.
And then the last thing is execution, which is a work in progress. And the first half we did not execute. We did play hard. We did communicate. But as I said before, as we started the week, 2 of those 3 will win you some games. 3 of those things, 3 of 3 will usually win every game. And basically the first half we didn't execute, and the second half we did. Couldn't run the ball in the first half. I think the move back to Eric McCoy at center helped us. I think some of the things that we did on defense on third down helped us too. But it comes down to it's not a magical of plays. It's about execution. And in this game, in football, you get one guy who wants to jump out of a B gap and try to make a play, then the ball splits you and it's a touchdown. So, trust each other, trust each other's ability, and do your job, because we've got enough guys that can play. Just don't try to do too much. Just do your job. We'll be fine. And let's not kid ourselves. I think the thing that we've done consistently over the last 3 weeks is our defense has created turnovers. We're in the plus margin every week, and we got to get better at a lot of different things. We are a work in progress, but the one thing that we have established is that we have created turnovers, and we've won the turnover battle every week. I think the hidden yardage has gone unseen. Shane Trapuka again, he's averaged 48.8 today. But last week it was something like that too?
Yes, sir.
48. I mean, that's a big deal. And giving them long fields, and our coverage has been excellent. That team there was in the top 10 in both kickoff returns and punt returns in the nation. And so, how we kicked the ball, how we punted the ball, how our guys covered today, that was a big deal too. So, second half, offensively, defensively, and special teams, we're pretty solid.
Other questions? Down front.
Coach, how did you see Kellen grow today, and do you think it was beneficial to him? Again, I don't know what you guys talked about, but kind of knowing he was going to be in there.
Well, he knew he was going to be in there last week.
Well, I'm talking about no matter what, playing the entire game.
He didn't know that until some I don't know. He didn't know that until warm-ups. So somebody said something yesterday about Jake wasn't going to play. It wasn't me.
Your overall thoughts about how he played?
He's gotten better, and I think he's more comfortable. He's more assertive. He was a lot more assertive last night in practice. He was a lot more assertive pregame, and that's that's normal as a young guy. And I think during this time, I think we as coaches are getting to know him, what his strengths are. I think the first thing a young guy tries to do is impress you with everything. And our conversation with him has been about, hey, listen, what on this call sheet do you not feel comfortable with? Let's eliminate those things. Let's not find out on Saturday what you don't like after it's a catastrophe on a play. And so young guys, have a hard time with that because they want to impress coaches and they want to show people that they know what's going on. Part of maturity is being able to say, hey, I'm not comfortable with that. We got time to work on it. And I think, we're getting a feel for what he likes. He's getting more open with us about what he likes. And so, he started the game last week. I don't know, what was he, 8 of 10 a week ago? There was a point today where he was 80% early again. So, it was a pretty solid performance with him, managing snaps, bad snaps, not making a catastrophe out of a bad play already. Just get on the ball and managing, a hurry-up situation when we're behind and then managing a slowdown situation in the end. So for him, it's a learning experience, but I think he's obviously become more comfortable with playing.
Right side middle, Brent.
You mentioned McCoy moving back to center. What else sparked your running game in the second half, and a little bit on the performances of Bussey and Caboti as well over the last two games?
I think him moving back to center was a big deal. Getting him back in there because targeting becomes a big deal. They were playing an odd front with a lot of guys moving around, and the who's blocking who changes a bunch in those fronts, and the ability again to communicate who's blocking who before the snap really helps. And it's not just the center, him playing center and blocking right there. It's his targeting and getting us going to the right people. So that had a lot to do with it, and us being able to get on the perimeter. I thought Short did a nice job today, letting us get the edge and get on the perimeter. I got to watch the video, but there were several times where I thought he let us get the edge. That was a big deal to get around a bunch of that stuff inside. They were slanting away, coming in back door behind and run us down on the inside zone. So we had to get outside a little bit. And then, once we got to the edge, obviously we made some yards that way. Got them running sideways a little bit, and then we were able to run back up inside. But I think Eric going back in to center and getting the targeting of who's blocking who is probably as important as literally just the guys one-on-one blocking. It was more of a targeting situation than it was than a physical situation.
And Caboti and Bussey.
I said yesterday in a production meeting, I really want to see what everybody's talking about, Kendall Bussey, and I said, we got another one who showed a lot in practice, and I'm really anxious to see what he can do. He did not disappoint. So, we've got guys when you can play like that, and maybe your best running back or the guy who's, who's rushed for 1,000 yards, didn't even play in the game, to give him a chance to get healed up and on that ankle and not play him and have him fresh for next week. Now we got 4 guys that can go, and 4 guys that we talk about trust and confidence around here. First, you've got to get some trust in yourself, then in your teammates and your coaches, and without a doubt today, Jacob gave us. We got it in Kendall last week and again this week, but again, Jacob Caboti showed that hey, he wants to play and he's capable of playing, and he's big and he can, and he's fast. So I like that combination. That's always good when it's on your team. So
Go to the back, Daryl.
Coach, I'm sure you lost some hair pulling it out in the first half, but with the way you guys played in the second half and going in the conference play, is that kind of what you guys needed to get some confidence and at least a good taste in your mouth?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if is that what we needed. We needed to win, and that's what we did. So, there's always in how you play. Obviously, there was a lot more positives in the second half than there were in the first half, which, we just talked about. And it gets back to you learn a lot about teams, particularly young teams, in those situations. and about leadership. I thought Armani Watts, with the turnovers and how he played, really was played in a leadership role. I thought Terrell Dotson was that way on defense. I thought our defense really sparked us. The drive and to start the second half, and our defense playing the second half. It was a team effort and special teams. So coverage and returns and things like that across the board. The second half obviously was a lot better than the first half, but there was players play and the message today was what you showed today was that you trust each other, you believe in each other, and it doesn't really matter what the situation is or what's being said or what's out there. You got to believe in the people in this room, and with that, I think we grew up a little bit today.
Down front, Gabe.
I have a two-parter. Number one, had you gotten wind yet about Will Gunnell's obscene gesture toward the stands, and had you addressed that yet?
Yeah, I was made aware of it at halftime, we dealt with it at halftime. He did not return to the field. He's since issued an apology, and he's embarrassed. We'll handle whatever disciplinary action this week with him internally. But he didn't return. He's issued an apology, and we'll handle it from there.
You've been openly critical about the receivers outside. Did you see a bunch of fight in them?
I think when, it's kind of interesting, somebody said I blamed the offensive line last week, or I'm openly critical. I'm open, right? I see the same things that you guys see. So, if I say something, am I blaming someone? Right? Am I criticizing? I don't do that to our players. I challenge them, and we made some plays today, and we didn't on the perimeter. Jamon is getting better, but he's still young. He had some. I'm sure there's some other things that we want to do across the board. But as far as me, being openly critical, I would say I'm pretty open about what the issues are instead of trying to sugarcoat things that we all see, including myself, including coaching. So,
Second row.
I just had to get
Suzanne.
that off my chest. Sorry.
On the offensive line, it looked like in the first half it looked like a one of those doors that keeps swinging. I mean, you had a lot of guys in there. And if they were doing all the stunts and the twist, what was the thinking behind putting in like 4 true freshmen on your line and 1 redshirt freshman?
We did it across the board, Suzanne.
Everywhere.
Everywhere today.
Everywhere.
I don't know if you saw the game, but we
yeah,
had
I watched all 4 quarters,
freshmen playing all over the place.
Yeah, I think
in
at one time
safety,
you had 10
safeties,
offensive players
linebackers,
who were freshmen.
D-line,
Yeah.
O-line. That was we went in the game today playing all these guys because, we're getting into conference play. We got to know what they can do.
Yeah.
All right, and the O-line was not immune to that.
Mark Passwaters here on the left, and that'll wrap us up.
Coach, you got another huge game out of Dotson. Hines came in, did some good things. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about them and the performance you saw from them and OT?
OT's been playing well. I mean, a lot better at will this year. He got nicked up over there. I don't know what happened. I talked to him a little bit after the game. I think it was a hamstring. And Anthony comes in, and right now he's a work in progress. He plays with great energy. He's really fast. He's a great tackler. But he hurt us too on some things. He hurt us on a touchdown down there, and on the drive route. He chased the first guy in there underneath him. They threw the ball right behind him. They used his aggressiveness against him, and then you see him make other plays. He's young, and so Dotson has had a solid 3 games, and has really, I think, has flashed at times, but he's been a solid Mike linebacker, and to get Anthony in there today, that was another situation where we went in the game saying, series this and the series that, these guys are going to go in the game, not wait till situations or whatever. And did that hurt us in the first half? Probably did. All right, but I think it helped us, and it will help us down the road because of the combinations of guys that we played with Keldrick Carper and trying to keep the safeties with an older guy, you know. So Derek Tucker's in there. He's not, you know, at least Larry's in there or Armani's in there, and Carper's in there, you know. So playing young guys with some older guys and mixing it up. We can't do it at corner because all those corners are young anyway, you know, and since Priest has moved into nickel. But that was the plan today. The plan was a rotation across the board. I think you saw the receivers coming in and out, all four of them, you know, and at three at a time, rotating the running backs, rotating everybody today so that we got some good game experience and you know, moving forward, you know, creating depth and putting them in positions of game situations that you really can't, you know, you like to do in practice, but you can't simulate it. And so, you know, getting into conference play now, with our rotations, we know more about this team, and because of how much they played today, the young guys, and should they, you know, what a bunch of them scored touchdowns today. You know, a couple of them made plays defensively. So, you know, hopefully that group, the young group, got some confidence with some success in the second half, and our coaches got some confidence in them.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you.